Hey guys, welcome back to my podcast. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe for more podcasts like this. And in today's video, I am doing a video on MBTIs. So a lot of you guys were wondering what are MBTIs, and honestly, yeah, that's the only question you guys had. And I also asked you guys on Instagram for some other questions for those who are more like acknowledged about MBTIs. So I'll be answering your questions, but first we'll be explaining what MBTIs are. And by the way, I had to film in this area. It was not very ideal. This is the dirtiest room in my house, or not my house. It's like my grandma's house, but it's basically my house too. And there are like a lot of rooms. So there's this room where we keep our clothes and a lot of food, just kind of like a storage room, honestly. And then the other room is where we have our desk for studying, and then there's also it's also where my parents sleep. And then the other room is the biggest room, is where we sleep, and there's also like a big closet and all, and then there's the living room, and then a kitchen, and then a bathroom. It's quite large for an apartment. And by the way, there are a lot more apartments than actual like houses, because Korea is small and there's a lot of people who live here. So first, what are MBTIs? In a short explanation, they are, sorry, I can't cut this. Oops. I was gonna say cut, but I stopped myself there. They are personality types that basically you can categorize yourself into, and actually we'll get into that a little bit later too, like the term categorizing yourself into a personality type. And there are 16 of them in total, and it's basically like a combination of 4 letters. So the first one is I or E, and I is introvert, E is extrovert. So basically, are you more introverted or extroverted? That's very simple. And then the second letter is N or S, and so it's, wait, hold up. I don't want to give you guys like the wrong information. N or S. Yeah, so sensing and intuition. So for me, I'm an extrovert and I'm also sensing. So it also means that sensing is like you live in the now and you're very like present, and you also like abide by like what you see and not necessarily like your imagination. And like intuitive is like trying to find like deeper meaning, not so very little literal, while not so very literal, while the sensing people are more literal. So I am ES, and also the next one is pretty easy too. It is T or F, which is thinking or feeling. So that one is just like, do you use your head more or your heart more? And for me, I'm a T, so I think more than I feel. And I find it's really, really, really interesting, because I really don't know if I follow my head or my heart. And so on the MBTI quiz, which you can actually take on like 16 personalities, a lot of people say it isn't accurate, but I find that it's just best for like starting out. And trust me, I've taken this test, the MBTI, Myers-Briggs tests, so many times on different websites, in different languages too, and I always get ESTJ /T. That is what I get. So yeah. Anyway, the last letter is P or J, and let me just search that too, because I don't want to give the wrong information. Okay, so J, yeah, okay, yeah. P is very spontaneous, and you don't really follow the rules. Sorry, that's my grandma. And yeah, spontaneous, and you don't really follow the rules, and if you make plans, no, you don't really make plans. That's kind of the point of it. Like, you're very just spontaneous on the spot, while J's are a lot more planned, and they're a lot more structured, orderly. I am a J, so I'm an ESTJ, which means I'm an executive, and executives are known to be very traditional, I guess, like very following the rules, very structured, and also extroverted. So yeah, that is what I am. I'm an ESTJ. So you can always take the test, or you can actually just kind of think yourself, like, are you an introvert or an extrovert? Are you a thinker or a feeler? I would recommend doing that before you take the test, because I think it's just fun to compare what you thought you were and then actually see what you are, So the website is just 16personalities.com. And oh yeah, we forgot the very last one. So the /T or A, that one means, so turbulent and assertive. Yeah, assertive. It means like T is known just for like their rationality, and I guess you could think of it as the no, wait, hold up. Oh, wrong one. Oh, I forgot what this one was. Hold up. A or T in the MBTI. Yeah, it's not traditionally included, but it's still included. Hold up. Let me try to find. By the way, it looks like I'm not wearing anything. I am wearing something. Aha. Assertive is more calm under stress, and turbulent is like really stressed out in stressing situations. They get very stressed out. So, that is like a brief overview of an MBTI. It's really interesting to see everyone's different MBTIs because I feel like, I don't know, it's not like I judged them based on their MBTI, of course not, but it really gives me like an insight on how they think, and I just really find that interesting. And you guys might know this, but I have a huge list that goes on for only a page, but this is like Arial 11, not double spaced. But I do have a lot of people. And I also made like a little graph. I have yet to find an ESFP. So if you know me in real life and you're an ESFP, hit me up. These are all of my friends, all of my classmates, my family. My family, I mean 4 people, or 5 including me. Yeah. I have so many ENFPs. They're like my longest ones. So there's 8 ENFPs out of a total like, how many do I have in total? Do I have to like count this? 3, 6, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 39. You could say 40 to 50 range. And out of those, 8 people are ENFPs. By the way, ENFPs are very like, kind of like the opposite of me, except they're also extroverted. They're very like, it, I guess they're good people in a sense, like they're very energetic and really nice to be around. And the joke is that ENFPs are hot because I'm an ESTJ, are attracted to ENFPs actually because they're like different to us, I guess, and they're very like spontaneous while we really aren't. But the thing is, ENFPs and ESTJs don't work well together. There's also, if you search up MBTI compatibility on Google and go to the images, there'll be like this chart where they tell you the compatibility. I thought this was super interesting because for me, I have 3 like an ideal matches. The blue ones are ideal matches, and the ideal matches ones are, well, first INTPs, which is my sister and my dad, and this other classmate, but I don't think he's very significant. So they are my soulmates. And then also ISFPs, which is Grace, my best friend, or one of my best friends. And then ISTPs. I only know one ISTP, but well, firstly, I don't even know him that well, so I don't think he really counts as one. Yeah, but I only have one ENTJ, one ISTP, one ISFP, one ESTP, and 0 ESFP. So those are like, you can see as the more rare ones. And they're also divided into different categories. So like these are like the NTs, these are the NFs, this is the ESTs, and these are contemplating life decisions. Yeah, let's just forget about that. I forgot the word that like categorizes each MBTIs. But maybe we'll start with the questions because I'm kind of running out of things to say. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, let's go through the questions that you guys asked. So, the first question is what is your favorite and also least favorite MBTIs? So like I said, ESTJs are attracted to ENFPs, but the thing is, they're kind of like a joke. Like, I don't understand how, they're just very like a joke. If you see these like videos on YouTube where it's like how each MBTIs would blah blah blah, just always the ENFPs one are just such a joke, and I feel like they would be, in theory, really like fun to hang out with, but then in real life, if you're like working with them, it would be just bad, I guess. So that's how I feel about them. They're like, it's like a love-hate relationship, you could say. Some of the ENFPs I know, I really, really like them. Like Alicia, I love you, Alicia. And then my friend, he's also an ENFP. But some people I just don't vibe with. Yeah. So that's kind of how I feel about ENFPs. I don't really have like a favorite or a least favorite, I guess, but this is kind of bad to say, but I feel like INTPs are not like my favorite, I guess. It's not my least favorite, and this is gonna get hate because I bet a lot of you guys are INTPs. There's a lot of INTPs and INFPs on YouTube for some reason. I don't know, like there's a lot of them, and those are like the introverts that aren't necessarily structural, I guess. Like they're also very spontaneous, but they are introverts. So I guess that does fit with like the ideal YouTube watcher, viewer, whatever. So yeah, and there's a question which is which MBTI is the laziest, and that kind of connects to what I was saying. I feel like INTP and INFPs are quite lazy. Usually the I's tend to be a little bit more lazier than E's. Oh yeah. And then someone asks, are they accurate? Like, are MBTIs accurate? Because they keep changing every week for me and no one really tells me that I've changed. So the thing is, some people just really change often. I forgot what this was called. Like, I have a friend that's she's very educated about these things. And, you know, there's like other things apart from MBTIs too, like enneagrams, something like that. But those are so confusing for me, so I don't really try to get into it. But there's like this type where if you have this specific enneagram, then your MBTI changes often. So like one example is Catherine. She used to be an ENFP, and then she changed to an ENFJ, and then now she's ESFJ. So it just like changes all the time. But something like me, mine is just so consistent. Also Grace's, hers never changes either. So I think that's quite interesting. I wouldn't be too worried if yours changes too often. Maybe you just have a difficult time choosing, you know, that could just be a part of your personality, that you just have a difficult time. And also your results really may change every time you take the test, because like maybe one day you're just feeling very like organized and then one day you're not, like, you know, that could definitely change it. So oh yeah, someone asks favorite MBTI memes. I haven't really gotten into the MBTI memes. I saw a video where someone reacted to it and they were an ENFJ and I thought that was very exciting. Let's read these. Try to like show it on the screen. Hold up. Okay. In the garden. So that's me there. I'm an ESTJ. Prunes the plants, gives up after a while, and has a drink. Shoots people with a water gun. Sleeps in a hammock, is annoyed by everyone else. Looks for insects, talks to them. That's so not me. And then climbs a tree, proceeds to shout, "Get on my level!" That one's funny. I think the first one is most like me, which makes sense because my MBTI type is there. These memes are so weird. Oh, okay. The four horsemen of being misunderstood. INTP, INFP, INTJ, INFJ. Yeah, they're like kind of like a one. I like to think of it like that. Like they're both like, or they're all introverts. And yeah. I love how one meme just says ESTJs are moms. Just moms, period. Like other ones, they're like bossy SEO. Emotional thing? In love with ENTP for some odd reason. Wait, who are they? INFJs? Wait, who are INFJs on my list? Where are you, INFJ? Oh! Interesting. Okay. Okay. Ow. I'm like sitting on this seat and it's not the most comfiest, but we have to deal with it because my grandma is watching TV outside, my mom is on a phone call, and my sister is on her iPad and she gets really mad if I talk while she's on her iPad. So, anyway. let's get back to the questions. The answer to that is no, I don't really look at MBTI memes. Okay. See, I asked something on Instagram like, hey guys, do you guys have any questions about MBTIs? And people will be like, can I pass my audition? So, yeah. So half of these questions are very irrelevant, so I have to scroll through them, which is why it takes more time, so just wait a little bit. Okay, someone says, are there bad MBTIs? So when I force people into taking MBTI quizzes, which a lot of these I have forced them into taking it, like, do you know what your MBTI is? And they're like, no. This is how like the usual conversation goes when I ask someone what their MBTI is. So I'll be like, hey, do you know what your MBTI is? And they'll be like, no, I don't. What's that? And I'll be like, oh, then you must take the test on 16personalities.com. And then they'll be like, yes or no. And if they take the test, then I'll be like, oh yeah, so what did you get? And they'll be like, oh, I got blah, 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 blah. And they'll show me their screen or whatever. And I'll be like, oh, cool, yeah. And then they'll be like, is this good or bad? And there are no good or bad MBTIs. I think it's just like some are more ideal to others, I guess. Like some people really, really hate lazy people. So, yeah, that's what they do. So maybe some people don't really like INTJ, INTPs, people like that. But then some people really, really, I feel like a lot of feelers, like the ones with F in their MBTIs, they don't really necessarily love the T's, which are thinkers, because they aren't feeling enough, I guess. Now that I think about it, I think I'm definitely a thinker rather than a feeler. So, yeah. And also, one more interesting thing, this is like totally off topic. Well, I mean, it's still on the topic of MBTIs, but anyway. My MBTI is ESTJ, and I'm the only extrovert in my family, which includes my dad, my mom, my sister, and my grandma. And my mom and my grandma have the same MBTI. By the way, my grandma is like my mom's mom. And they have the same one, which is ISFJ. And then my dad and my sister have the same ones, which is INTPs. I thought that was so interesting because, I don't know, like, they're all introverts and then they're just me. I guess I'm just special. I'm just built different. But no, yeah, I found that really interesting. I expected, I don't know, my grandma's like slightly in the middle. Like, she has a lot of friends. She has like 5 phone calls a day with her friends, and they're all different friends too. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah. And this one actually really had me thinking. So I looked at these questions beforehand, just in case, I guess. And someone asked opinion on people who don't do MBTIs because they don't want a specific result to define and limit themselves. And at first I was like, what do you mean limit yourself? It's just an MBTI that you kind of do for fun. It's not like I swear by this. I just find it really, really interesting. And it's not like if someone isn't compatible with me, I'm going to break up with them, you know? Like, I just do it for purely fun. So, yeah. Just a little disclaimer there. But I totally get this, I guess. I understand where you're coming from. However, it's not like because you're an ESTJ, I'm like, oh, I'm never going to be spontaneous again in my life. It's not going to, like, limit me. And it's not going to restrict any of my choices that I make as a human being because I'm an ESTJ. I think it's just, it goes back to like the categorizing thing. It's not going to define you. It's just like, you have these characteristics. Now, great, you know? It's just very chill, not so very restricting and limiting. And it's just fun to see what you are, I guess. And for other people to see what you are too. Yeah. So that is my opinion on that. I guess, like, I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, not really. Like, it doesn't really make sense. And there's another interesting question, and they were like, I'm shy, but my MBTI is an ENTP. How? So, one thing about the 16 personalities quiz, when they check when your MBTI is an introvert or an extrovert, there are questions like, do you like to stay at home when you've had a hard week or something like that? Who doesn't want to stay home when they've had a difficult, tiring week? Like, that's one of the questions, literally. Like, who wouldn't want to stay home? You're tired, you're having difficulties socializing, I think I would just want to stay home, like even if I'm an extrovert. And there's also questions like, in a group work or in a work, would you like to like work alone or work in a group? Even though I'm an extrovert, I don't really like working in a group because I feel like it's not that efficient as like working by myself. And I feel like that really has nothing to do with whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, just like your work style. So that's a little like off for me on the 16 personalities quiz. But not just this quiz, other quizzes do have these kind of questions. So maybe that kind of influenced you. Maybe you're an introvert but you like to work in a group setting because it makes you feel more comfortable, or maybe the workload is less for you, something like that. Maybe that's why. That's my little theory that I have. And also, ENTPs aren't like the most extroverted MBTIs either. They're like debaters, which means that you like to argue and you really try to find like logic, I guess. And I feel like that could also be introverted in a way. So maybe, yeah. And someone says it just identifies our personality and it does not define who we are. Why are people getting so defensive? I never said it defined who we are. Yeah, it definitely just, not even identify, just, it's just for fun, you know? Anyway. Yeah, someone said that use sakinorva.com or keys to cognition because they're more accurate as they type by functions. Yeah, functions, that's what the word was. Your function. Yeah. That's definitely what it is. So if you want a more accurate result, I think 16 personalities is a good way to generally kind of see who you are. And then if you really want to get into the details, like keys to cognition, that's really a good website too. I've taken my MBTI on so many different websites, so I'm pretty sure ESTJ is very accurate to me. So yeah. And also someone asks, do you believe in them? So here's my little explanation on that. I'm going to close my laptop and put it somewhere else because it is heating up. So some people kind of connect MBTIs to their, star signs, like Sagittarius, Taurus, Capricorn, things like that. And so people are like, do you believe in them? Like, are they actually real? But they're so different. Like, the gap is just so different. Firstly, you're kind of like born into a star sign and you don't really get to choose it, nor do your actions or your choices influence your star sign. So I guess like believing in star signs, if you do, that's great. However, for me, I think like because I'm a Sagittarius, I feel like some of the Sagittarius traits do connect with me, but I don't really like believe in them because it just doesn't make sense. Like you were born from your mother's womb a little bit later or a little bit earlier, so it makes you a certain personality. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. However, the MBTI is like literally by your choice, by your decisions, and you're just taking the test yourself. It's not like you're born into an MBTI. It always changes too, or not always, but sometimes it does change, like this person said, but it always changes, and it's totally just 100% driven by your personal decisions and your personal actions. So there's nothing to not believe it in, right? Like, of course, you may find that some of the descriptions for each of the MBTIs don't really connect with you personally, and that's definitely it. But no, I don't think there's a reason to not believe in it. But that's just my opinion on it. If you don't believe in MBTIs, which really makes no sense to me, go for it. You do you. And yeah, and some people said like they were studying psychology and it wasn't like real, but that's not being real is different to not actually believing in it, you know? Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, and someone like wrote like a really long thing. So they wrote, do you believe in them as I am learning psychology? It's an official test, but I don't know how much it's reliable. As humans, be zodiac signs or anything, when we read them, we kind of feel it's true. Like, for example, they tend to write to be lazy, but as humans, we kind of get lazy and procrastinate anyway. Well, it depends on what your MBTI is. For me, there's not one that says lazy because I'm an ESTJ, like the opposite of lazy. Yeah. And also, not all humans are lazy, so maybe they're just talking from their personal experience. They tend to write that people are lazy. Yeah, no, that really depends on your personal MBTI. So maybe this person doesn't necessarily believe in MBTIs, but that's okay. That's okay. We all have different opinions, and yeah. And someone says, are all extroverts loud and talkative? I feel like that's what people have in mind when they think of extroverts, like loud, talkative, has so many friends, always is outside and partying. But no, that's not necessarily it. Maybe they just like to express themselves a little bit more, and they prefer company over being alone, is kind of what I think of it as extrovert. But everyone's idea of being extroverted is pretty different, and I think we all have some traits of extrovertedness and some traits of introvertedness, if that's even a word. So, yes. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all of the questions. The other questions are highly unrelated. So, yeah, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. There are some controversial ones in there. But for me, I want to kind of talk about each of the MBTIs because I really find them interesting. Let's start with mine because ESTJ 16 personality. I just like 16 personalities because it's really organized, and some people don't really like the website itself because they say it's not very accurate. And sure, maybe it's not the most accurate, but it's okay. What I got, I'll really just say it in the results, is 79% extroverted, 21% introverted. I personally find that I'm quite extroverted. However, it's because of like the group or things. Like, I do not like to work as a group. I think it's just really ineffective. I'm 47% intuitive and 53% observant. So honestly, I could be an ENTJ. What are ENTJs? Oh, yeah, okay. And then I'm 71% thinking and 29% feeling, which makes sense. And then 67% judging and 33% prospecting. And I'm 79% turbulent and 21% assertive. I definitely get stressed very easily, so they're probably extremely accurate. So, it says that executives are representatives of tradition and order, utilizing their understanding of what is right, wrong, and socially acceptable to bring families and communities together. Embracing the values of honesty, dedication, and dignity, people with the executive personality type are valued for their clear advice and guidance. That's very true. I am very honest, and I never lie or to make someone feel better or to whatnot. Like, I'm always very honest. I feel like you could sense that in my videos too, even within just like my K-pop audition tips. I'm extremely honest, and I don't try to hide things, I guess, or sugarcoat things. Let's look at my strengths and weaknesses. When I first kind of get into an MBTI, I look at that first because I just want to gain like an overall view of what the MBTI is. And by the way, the image for mine is like this little teacher. Yeah. And she has like these frames on that are blue, greenish colored. So my strengths are I'm dedicated. I sure am. Strong-willed. Okay. Direct and honest. Yeah. Loyal, patient, and reliable. I am reliable, and I'm very loyal. I'm very loyal. And I like loyal people and loyal things. Does that even make sense? Enjoy creating order. I do. Excellent organizers. My mom disagrees. She hates the way my room looks and how disorganized it is, but we'll just go through that. Inflexible and stubborn. Okay. These are the weaknesses, by the way. Uncomfortable with unconventional situations. Like, not so very traditional ones that are, like, new. And judgmental. A little bit. Too focused on social status. And this one kind of, like, made me laugh because it's so specific. Too focused on social status. Yeah, like meeting others' expectations that they fail to address their own needs. Honestly, that is like every YouTuber ever, which I feel like is so funny. And it says especially the turbulent ones. And I am a turbulent one, so maybe it does. And it also says difficult to relax. A little bit. And difficulty expressing emotion. I don't find that I'm like the worst at expressing my emotions, but I don't think I'm like the best either. So, yeah. I think my MBTI really works with me. Like, we really connect together. And not a lot of people are ESTJs. Like, some people you might know is like Jisoo from Blackpink. Wait, I'll search this up. ESTJ K-pop idols. By the way, comment what K-pop idol you are. Comment what your MBTI is, and maybe you're an ESTJ. I so far have not seen an ESTJ in the YouTube comments, at least. I know one guy, he is in my business class and he's an ESTJ. I found that very interesting. He did not seem like an ESTJ, so I was extremely shocked. But yeah. So apparently ESTJs are very rare. I don't think like they're the most rare. However, they're quite rare. I feel like the most common ones are ENFP, maybe INTP, INFP. Those ones are quite common. Oh, yeah. Kim Lip from Luna is also an ESTJ. Chonga is also... I'm so surprised. Kim Lip literally seemed like an introvert. But maybe it's inaccurate. Chiho from Twice. Apparently they're ESTJs. Okay. Cool. And Judge Judy, yeah, she's also an ESTJ. Frank Sinatra. That's funny. But I think that's like only the well-known ones. So. Oh, he's the one that sang Fly Me to the Moon. Okay, yeah. Those are all of the things. I want to look at other MBTI strengths and weaknesses. Who should we choose? Let's do ENFPs because they're a joke. Sorry, ENFPs, but you do have to admit, ENFPs are very. I don't know. All the ENFPs I know, they're very into that stereotype, I guess. So, ENFPs are curious, okay, observant, energetic, and enthusiastic. Excellent communicators, knows how to relax. So like this is literally the opposite of mine. Very popular and friendly. But they also have very poor practical skills. So they don't, unfortunately their skill with upkeep, administration, and follow through on those projects struggles. Yikes, that's so sad. Find it difficult to focus. Overthink things. Get stressed easily. Highly emotional and dependent to a fault. Yeah, so those are that. I want to see Grace's MBTI because Solgi, Wendy, and Yeri, they all are ISFPs, which is Grace's MBTI, and I found that so interesting. But the only person I know that has an ISFP is Grace, like in real life. So let's look at their strengths and weaknesses. Charming, sensitive to others, imaginative. I feel like these people are so interesting. There's not a lot of what are these people? Well, my category is sentinels, but the artistic ones, like the yellow ones, you know, like they're very interesting. There's not a lot of them because they're like the more artsy, creative kind of people, and yeah, that's really interesting because I never saw Grace as like a creative person, I guess. Yeah. Fiercely independent, wow. Overly competitive. Interesting. Who else should we look at? Oh, we should look at Catherine's. Yeah. There's also another person that has an ESFJ. Ha ha ha. What was that laugh? Ha ha ha. Oh, there's the happy birthday cake guy. The guy that's like holding the little birthday cake like that. Let's see their strengths and weaknesses. Oh, they also have strong practical skills. I like this. Well, they're basically like me except they're feelers. So honestly, they shouldn't really be too different. It says they're sensitive and warm, good at connecting with others. They're also worried about their social status. They're also pretty inflexible. Vulnerable to criticism. I see you. I want to look at more ESTJ memes. I want to see if they connect with me. These are so ridiculous. confident and assertive. And someone says, or Lucy Van Pelt says, I think it's from the Peanuts thing. Yeah. She says, I never made a mistake in my life. I thought I did once, but I was wrong. Bruh. These are mean. These are like attacking. These aren't like funny. They're just attacking. So this is a conversation between an INFP and an ESTJ. Who are INFPs? Oh yeah. Oh, INFP, that's Angela. There's quite a lot of INFPs too. So INFP says, I love you, and ESTJ says, thank you. And then the INFP says, that wasn't exactly the answer I was looking for. And ESTJs say, thank you very much. I find that MBTI videos on YouTube is really funny. So there's this guy named Frank, what was his name? Frank James, that is his name. Frank James makes these MBTI videos, I guess, and he does like, let's see. Oh yeah, 16 personalities looking for a job. 16 personalities getting the vaccine, and I find these so funny. Like each of them like have a little like mini skit, I guess, for like 10 seconds, and he just kind of combines all of the MBTIs. I really appreciate his dedication for these, and he just makes a lot of skits and comedy videos about the 16 personalities. So I recommend him if you are into MBTIs just like me. What else can we do now? Should we do like a little life update? Because I really have nothing else to say about MBTIs, and that's pretty much all I've got. Let's see, today is a Friday. I am filming this quite late because I was gonna film yesterday, but then I was like, no, my hair looks so bad, so I didn't. And I showered this morning, so clean hair, clean life. I think I might get a haircut too, because we have to get our pictures taken for our passport, because we need to like update it or something like that. So yeah, should we do like a little tour of what's in this room? Yum, food. Ramen. This is from the Korean government, by the way, because we're quarantining. Oh, ha 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 ha. This is a fun one. This is a very sad one. So, story time, let's begin. My quarantine ends on the 12th, so it's like the 9th today, so I've got 3 days left. And you might be thinking, oh, that's great, only 3 more days until quarantine and you're out of your way. However, it is not a very good thing, because the corona cases in Korea are getting higher and higher and higher. Whereas in Canada, it's getting lower, which is really, really surprising. And people apparently, they aren't even wearing masks, according to my friends. So yeah, but they're also, where I live, they're also having this thing, and I'm pretty sure the cases are going to rise. So I'm not too reassured about that. But anyway, in Korea, let's get back to Korea. Korea, the cases are getting really, really high, and it's just bad. It's just bad. So, starting on the 12th, right when our quarantine ends, they're doing this like new laws and regulations thing where you can't go outside as like a group of like 4 or 2 or something like that. I don't know, it's like very small, and you can't do like little events. You can't go to like festivals or events. And we were gonna go watch a musical. We were gonna have my mom's cousin. We basically call her aunt, but she's not really our aunt because she's our mom's cousin. We were gonna go to her birthday party, and by birthday party, I literally mean in her house, just having dinner, like, just like as a fun thing, because we haven't seen her in a while too, with her children and all. However, that might get canceled too, and we were really excited for that. And my mom also has this teacher, and he's like rich apparently. I mean, we've seen him before, and he like bought us a lot of food last time, so we were like, yes, food, let's go. But apparently that might get canceled too, because like the restaurants might close and things like that. So it's just really, really bad, and we might just stay here in Korea just doing nothing because we can't go outside because of how bad the cases are, like the case rate right now. So that's extremely saddening. the news was like broken out yesterday night, and we were like, bruh, yeah. Also, this is another story time that's not really directly related to me, but I'll share it anyway because why not? So apparently, so this was like the last time we came to Korea, like as a vacation, was in 2019 summer. We were also gonna go into 2020 like spring. That's why it kind of got delayed until now, but obviously Corona hit right then, so we couldn't go. And basically, the last time we went was 2019. And in 2019, we were also planning on coming here to our grandma's house, like always. However, she bought this new air freshener thing. It's like a. It kind of looks like. Just wait. Air freshener. I'm just searching up an image on Google so everyone could gain an understanding of what it looks like. Yeah, so it kind of looks like this. It's just this machine thing that basically just freshens your air. And so my grandma bought that for her house, and it was like in our living room. But I think she decided that she didn't want it anymore, so she no. So every month or so, or every 2 months, I don't even know, it gets like a repair from like a person comes into her house and repairs the thing, so that or like changes the filter or something like that. And that's kind of like the contract that you have to do. And for like the first month it was like free or something, and then from the second month, basically the guy that came in to fix the filter and all of that, apparently they scammed us. And basically the company that the air freshener was from is an extremely big company in Korea, very famous for its electronics and all of that. And so basically they were like, the guy that came in, he basically ran away from the company to scam people, and they just couldn't find him anymore. And so now the company is like, yeah, you still have to pay for it, but we never even signed the contract because it was only the first month, and we got a return for later. So we never, my grandma never even, why am I saying we? It's not like a group contract. My grandma never even signed the contract. We got it returned, and it was all just like completed, I guess. And now they're calling us 2 years later. 2 years later, they're calling us and being like, yeah, you have to pay for it. It's $9,000. And so we were like, no, we don't. Or my mom got the call. Or they call her grandma, but my grandma is very old. She's like 81 years old right now. So she's not really like at the age to like answer calls about those contract kind of things. So my mom answered the call, and she was like, no, we never even signed your contract, we never even did anything with you, and you guys basically scammed us, so it should be you who's like apologizing to us, not the other way around. And we don't even have to pay $9,000 because we returned it, we got it all just out of our way. And so long story short, we had a lot more phone calls with them, and then they were like, look, you did sign this contract. And we look at it, and it's like my grandma's name like written down, and my mom was like, huh, this is so sketchy, this does not look like her handwriting. So she asks my grandma to write just her name like on a piece of paper or something in her own handwriting, and the way she writes her name is just so different. And the way the contract was signed was like, it looks like someone tried to purposely write in a really messy way, like someone would in a contract, but the two handwritings just don't even match up. So apparently they forged my grandma's signature. A big company, guys. This isn't even like a small company that does like little things. It's like a big company, and very popular too, for like an electronic. And they probably just did this because they were like, oh, they wouldn't notice, right? We were probably just gonna get their money and that'll be that. So we're planning to sue them. Fun. I'm not sure if this is our first time dealing with this, or not dealing with it, dealing with a suing thing, but I thought that was extremely fascinating how people will really go through the lengths of forging signatures, disturbing someone's like mental health basically, because my grandma, she isn't like the most mentally healthiest, I guess. Like, she's very healthy physically, but like she's still old, like 81 years old. That's kind of old. So yeah, it was extremely saddening and really to hear, like forging. I don't even understand, like, why would you do that? So, if we do win, we'll get money. If we lose it, we'll lose money, obviously. But yeah, they're really funny. So I don't want to share the brand or anything, but I thought that was really dumb. Anyway, I'm gonna have lunch soon because it's 11:57 a.m. Or, yeah, not p.m., it's a.m. Yay! I don't know why I just felt like sharing that, but I just did anyway. Let's see if there's any new questions someone asked. I highly doubt it, but we'll look at it anyway. Oh, someone commented on my post. Interesting. Yeah, nope, all of the questions that people asked me recently after I checked was just not related to MBTIs. So I think I'm gonna end this video here. It is quite short, but I don't feel like talking about anything else, and I really have nothing to talk about. So if you guys have any video requests you want to see on my podcast, make sure to comment them down below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. I wonder what the next upload will be. Bye. Wait, let me make this exactly 46 minutes. Bye. Slow motion. Ooh.